Hi everybody, Rick Gilmore here, the good company to be in if you want to lead naturally and be who you are. Now for today's video I've got a question for you. Why would you want to be guided, led or coached by anyone? Now for some organisations, would you agree, coaches and coaching programs are worth their weight in gold, and for other organisations it's a colossal waste of time and money with questionable return on investment. Would you agree for some organisations, building a coaching culture is a big badge of honour, and for others it's still something reserved only for poor performers? Now some of you may have been inside a Buddhist temple, and for those of you who have been inside a Buddhist temple, you will likely see Buddhists from Tibet to Burma to Japan to Thailand to Pennsylvania, Buddhists from all denominations taking refuge in what's called Triple Gem, or the three jewels of Buddhism. Now the first refuge is Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Now Buddhang Saranang Gacchami literally means I take refuge in Buddha. Now my old meditation master used to say that when Buddhists take refuge in Buddha, it's not Siddhartha Gautama, the historical founder of Buddhism, they're taking refuge in. It's when they take refuge in Buddha, they are acknowledging there are higher wisdom bearers, and it's the qualities of these higher wisdom bearers that they are taking refuge in. And of course for the Buddhists, Buddha is the highest embodiment of those qualities. You see, for them it was a no-brainer. If you're serious about learning something, why not learn it from someone who's walked on the path, has realised the final goal, and can offer you practical guidance and inspiration on how to get there yourself? But it's not just the Buddhists advocating the need for guidance or help, is it? Nowadays you'd be hard-pressed to find an elite sporting athlete who hasn't got a coach or a coaching team behind them. Or think about the arts for a moment, where great performers rely on coaching support to help them focus their goals and map their approach and eliminate inner blocks to success. And it also holds true for the business community and fraternity, where business leaders and executives and organisational leaders across all sorts of industries welcome reflection on elevating their performance and staying on top. And in fact, it could be said that one thing in common that all successful people share is that at some stage on their rise to the top, they got a coach. And it could also be said that once they are at the top, they also get a coach on how to stay there. As obvious as that all may be, I also know that many of us are uncomfortable in admitting that we need help. Now, after working with hundreds and hundreds of business leaders for over 20 years and delivering thousands and thousands of hours of one-on-one coaching, I've discovered there are two main problems or challenges you can hit up against when it comes to deciding whether or not a coach or a coaching intervention might be right for you. And here's what I've found, and you might want to jot these down. Quite often you might have noticed when people are wondering about whether to ask for help, they can go deep inside their heads and become immobilised by self-doubt. And you can end up thinking, I'm unworthy, or I don't deserve to be helped, or I'm a nobody and I don't deserve to be coached, or because coaching's something only for important people, or if I am coached, I don't want to be coached because I'll be found out that really I'm a fraud or an imposter or a fake, and all the rest of it. So self-doubt is one side of the equation. Now on the other side of the equation is other doubt. You know those legend in your lunch hour moments when you can become highly suspicious of anyone who might dare to suggest that perhaps you've got a few things you might want to do differently, or there's some new learning opportunities for you. You might have noticed that people who are a somebody and are immaculately perfect don't tend to want to admit that perhaps they've got an Achilles heel or blind spot, or that tiny tweaks can lead to rapid changes, do they? So these two things, self-doubt and other doubt, if you let them take charge, they will hold you back. It's just how it is. You see, the funny thing is, one of the initial hurdles to get through is to actually believe in yourself enough to actually be available for guidance and coaching. Now, for those of you who know my backstory, you'll likely know that learning and getting lessons from genuine masters has been one of the big uplifting joys of my life. Yet even so, that hasn't granted me immunity from my own self-doubt and other doubt gremlins. And I've had to find out the hard way that the reason I don't put my hand up for help is that I associate it as a weakness. And surprise, surprise, I want to be perceived as the superior one. And after much soul searching, life's also taught me, at a deeper level, I don't want the spotlight shining on me because deep down I feel useless or dysfunctional and don't believe or perceive anyone can really help me. And so at times in my life I've stayed independent, alone and hidden, kind of at war with my own help. On the one hand I want it and on the other hand I'm pushing it away, the classic double bind, which on reflection is kind of a weird activity. Yet of course at other times in my life I've been smart enough or lucky enough to let it be okay to let guides and coaches into my life and show me what something about what I'm really up to. But believe it or not, the reality is help is everywhere. Help is always on its way. You've just got to be open to receiving it and stop turning off the tap. Now this reminds me of a story between the young Indian upstart guru, debunker, buster, U.G. Krishnamurti, and his encounter with the great Indian sage Ramana Maharshi. You see, great things were predicted of U.G. at his birth, and so as a young man he was determined to attain enlightenment, and so he elected to wander all around India, checking out all the so-called enlightened masters. And zip strike rate, no luck. And he became very disillusioned and cynical about the Enlightenment game. Then in 1939, at age 21, U.G. came to the remote jungle hermitage of the great sage Ramana Maharshi. Now for those of you who don't know, Ramana Maharshi is generally regarded as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Indian sage of the 20th century. So even U.G. had to acknowledge that yes, there was something happening that was pretty cool around Ramana. But the petulant young U.G. sat in front of him and said, "Can you give me what you've got?" And Ramana looked over at him and said, "Yes, I can give it." And U.G. was gobsmacked. Finally, after all this time, someone who was genuine and the real deal and maybe even worthy of being his teacher. Not only did he have it, but he could give it. And then Ramana looked over him intently in the eye and said, "Yes, I can give it, but can you take it?" So if you're currently working with a coach, or you might be serious about wanting to work one, or maybe you've had a coach before in the past and you're wanting to start anew, if that's you, then 3 questions you might want to ask yourself are: how do I know this person is the right person for me? Do they have it, and can they give it? And 2, if they are the real deal, then what about me? How open am I to receiving it? Can I take it? How serious is my intention and willingness to do what it takes? And thirdly, after participating in the process and coming out the other end of it, will I be my own best coach and be able to guide and lead myself and influence myself to do what it takes to keep on realising my potential? So, why would you want to be guided or coached or led by anyone? Seeking the master and finding a guide has been one of the big themes that runs all through human history. So today in this video, I hope I've been able to give you some fresh insights on this great matter. So I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on how does the self-doubt, other-doubt pendulum play out in your life? Or how comfortable are you in admitting that you need help? Or how important is it for you to be your own best coach and show self-leadership? So if you like this video, if so, Please be good company and send it on to some of your peers or your colleagues. And if you're watching this video on anything other than goodcompanycoaching.com.au, then head over there and leave a comment. That's where all the action's happening. Scroll up, scroll down, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, give me something. And until we meet again, be who you are meant to become.